Hello, my beautiful warriors. So I just adore the idea of being a warrior. And because in our lives, it's important to take action, right? So it's that warrior part of us that does that. And I'm just going to take a moment and smudge us while everyone pops on, and then I will do a recap of what happened yesterday. So thank you for those who are watching on the replay. And here we go. Fearless. Like when you were a kid, you were taught not to play with matches, right? And you were told 65,000 times by the time you were 5 years old. So by the time I had my near-death experience at age 5, I had already heard 65,000 no's. Get out of that tree. Get down from there. You're going to hurt yourself. Be careful. Don't touch that. That's hot. I mean, and it goes on and on. So just place your hand on your heart and have compassion for yourself if you are not fierce and fearless, because you were taught not to be. So we're going to bust that, and we're going to look at, last time, the recap is that I asked you to write down 5 of your biggest fears. What are the biggest fears that you can come up with in your life? And once you did that, I also made a suggestion that you come up with twice as many rewards. The thing about life is that we like rewards, right? We like stars, we like being appreciated, we like, hey Lorraine, we like the idea that when we do something, there's a consequence, and we like positive consequences more than negative consequences. So here we go, let's get fired up, because we can choose to play with fire, and we can choose how to use that energy. So just draw your essence down into your body from wherever it has been so far today, and allow yourself to be open and available for all that the universe has for you. So the sun is out, so you'll see the fluctuation in the background with clouds and whatnot going by. But not yesterday, on Tuesday, what we did is we looked at how the somatic, how the body responds to fear, and how the body responds. Wow. Wonder if there's something in there. Respines. So let's just use that for a second. Think about your spine. It keeps you upright. And when we have fear, we kind of tend to cringe and go like this. So we respine and come back to our center. Thank you for that. So we respond in a very similar way in our body, not our mind, but our body responds in a very similar way. Your heart races, your breath gets shallow, your stomach kind of curls up, and you retract. Every cell of your body responds like that. But it doesn't have to. Unless it's a bear or a bus, unless you're going to be eaten or run over. The body just responds automatically. And the beautiful part, is that you can train your brain to do things differently. You can look at experiences, and usually the things that we fear are kind of spontaneous, and they catch us by surprise. However, in the last 2 years, and those of you who've been hanging with me know that this is my calendar back there. This is spring equinox right here. 2 years ago, I started drumming, and I finished this at spring equinox. And the reason I did that was to do an interrupt because we were being inundated with stress. We were being traumatized. Oh, do this. Oh, don't do that. Go there. No, don't do that. The fear was being whipped into a frenzy. And our bodies responded to that. Our bodies responded by contracting, by getting ill. We responded by isolating and not smiling, because who could see behind your mask anyway? The thing about being at choice and being conscious about what you're seeing and what you're responding to is that you can go, oh, my heart is racing, my palms are sweaty, I'm kind of disturbed, and my stomach is upset. And immediately what happens is that the mind goes, oh, this is something to fear. But it isn't always true. That isn't always the truth of it. Sometimes it's just an experience. So that must be important, because when important things happen, the outside world calls in. So now that you know that your body responds in a very similar way to the same stimulus, and that if it isn't a bear or a bus, that you can go, oh, wait a minute, I get to choose. I get to choose whether I buy into fear and contract, or whether I go, I wonder if this is something exciting and that I can expand into. Once you know that, once you actually just hear that even for the first time, you now get to be at choice. You weren't at choice when you were being inundated with 65,000 no's, but now you are. When you understand, the body responds in a similar way to both fear and excitement. If it's not a bear and you're not going to get eaten, and it's not a bus and you're not going to get run over, you get to then stop. Put your hand on your heart. Take a breath and assess. Do I need to respond in the same old conditioned way that I have responded before? Or can I respond differently now? And with that piece of information, you can respond differently now. So Tuesday, I asked you to write down 5 of your biggest fear, not your smallest one, like, I'm afraid I'll be allergic to chocolate, but your 5 biggest fears. And then 10 rewards that you're going to give yourself as you become fearless as fuck. I put the $sign in there because right now people are freaking out about money. They're freaking about security. They're as anxious as they were 2 years ago. So since this is so, let's look at the power of writing things down. Once you write it down, you can look at it objectively. So not only is there the power of writing things down, but let's look at that word. Most of us shy away from thinking we're powerful. So what I like is your true essence. What is your true essence? Is your true essence fear? Or is it love and excitement? Well, I believe that we're all love. So it becomes an easy choice to choose excitement and love over fear. But you used, hey Chrissy, you used the power of writing. When we write something down, it concretizes, but it also makes it distant from us. So when we do shamanic journeys together, we write them down so that we can look, what are the lessons? What can I learn? What can I integrate from that? How can I change my behavior to adapt in the world and thrive? Well, one of the ways that you do that, in addition to writing, is to use your voice to call things into creation. When you use the power of your voice and you say, I am a potent, amazing, transcendent woman or man, by the time we're 65,000 no's. It takes us a long time to become what they're calling sovereign now, to become in control of ourselves, to be able to go, oh no, I'm not going to experience it in that way. You get to be at choice. When you know your body responds in a very similar way to fear and excitement, then you are at choice about how you respond. Not how you react, but how you respond. So use the power of your voice. Learn to say no. If your no has no power, your yes has no meaning. If you say no and then you acquiesce and then you go, no, 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 but you don't you don't stand for what you believe, if you don't stand for yourself, then you'll find yourself caving and your no has no power. So learn to say no. And did you notice what happened to my body? My spine got erect, my hand went up, and I say no. And sometimes we need to say no to ourselves. Always we need to say no to ourselves first. We get addicted to all kinds of things. We get addicted to toxic information, toxic relationship, to misinformation, to chocolate, to alcohol, to drugs, to people. And so when we begin to come to ourselves and say, I'm going to say no about that. I'm going to tell myself when I want to go in that direction that there's another direction that's going to be better for me. So that's the power of talking, the power of talking to yourself. Sometimes you have to talk yourself into the no. And you know what? That's okay. So there's the power of your voice. There's the power of writing. There's the power of your mind. Yesterday we did the reptilian brain massage so that we can calm down that part of us that needs to know every deal. How is this going to work out? How is this going to play out? How long is that going to take? What's going to happen over here? And so calming that reptilian brain that first of all wants to keep you safe above all else and is hyper vigilant to look for what's going wrong, what's going wrong, what's going wrong. And you notice some people kind of move like that, right? And that's because they haven't trained their brain to quiet the reptilian. And it's right back there. So yesterday, the resources were a podcast for you to listen to. Also today, what I'll ask Lorraine to do for me is there's a chakra meditation on my website that clears your chakras. And with clear chakras, we're much more able to stand our ground. So the power of your mind. Now that now that you've heard that the similarity in your body between fear and excitement, you can train yourself. Not a bus, not a bear. Okay, I'm training myself. I'm training myself to stop, to think, and then decide. Is this something I need to be afraid of, or is this not something I need to be afraid of? The power of your body. So you begin to listen to your body. What is your body telling you when you see something or experience something that is extraordinary? that's maybe caught you off guard. So training your mind, training your brain to just allow the body to take a breath and then have that deciding, oh, do I need to jump, or can I take a breath and realize that, wow, if I go in this direction, it's going to expand me, it's going to excite me, and it's going to grow me. And then there's the power. Hi, Rainbow. I thought that was you. There's the power of your spirit. You know, we all have spiritual guidance. Something like 83% of the population of the planet believe in guardian angels. So we all have spiritual guidance. When you begin to rely on that, when you begin to trust, this is requiring that you tap into your intuition and that you take back your imagination. You know, that was hacked out years ago. What happened is you were told you don't have an imaginary friend. Well, your imagination is what creates your reality. Tapping into your intuition, tapping into your imagination, being guided by spirit is one of the most powerful things you can do to overcome fear. So this is the power of your spiritual connection. There's also the power of time. You know, I was talking to someone earlier today. Time doesn't exist. It's a made up thing. The sun comes up, the sun goes down. It does it over and over and over again. All the minutia that we have put on up and down and chopping it up into seconds, minutes and seconds and hours, there's a power in that. Allow yourself some time to actually get to know yourself and what makes me afraid. And how do I go, no to that, and step into being fearless as fuck? Because right now, we're as traumatized, we're more traumatized than we were 2 years ago. So in order for us to step up, we've got to come into our essence, which is pure love. Pure love has no fear. Pure love just goes for it. You know, think about one of your loved ones, and they were hit by a car, and you needed to move that car. You would frickin' get your butt over there and move that car. You wouldn't go, oh, I'm afraid. You would spring into action. So this is the power of your mind and your body working instantaneously. Hey, Brittany, good to see you. Melissa, glad you're here. Okay, so what we're talking about today is power. I call it essence because I don't like the word power. It sounds like someone can have it over me, but no one can have anything over my essence. My essence is direct. My essence is mighty. My grandma, she was a little thing. She used to say, I may be small, but I'm mighty. So when you get to look at your 5 biggest fears, your 10 rewards for going through this, looking at your fears. As soon as you write them down, there goes the power right out of them. So there, you have power in your voice. Speak out your desires. When you put it out to the universe, it starts to be attracted to you. It's like coming, coming, coming. And then that reptilian brain right back here, it'll start going off. So you want to train your brain to not resist what you desire. How many times have you wanted something and you got really close and then you sabotaged yourself, or you called someone else to sabotage you? When you train your brain to just be able to sit while it's gestating and coming towards you with your focus clearly aligned in that direction, then the idea that it takes time, it doesn't take time. It merely takes a focused decision. Have you ever wanted to lose weight? Because if you lose weight, you'll find it again, right? And when you have a clear definition and you're unwavering, it begins to happen. And then it takes time, right? Well, no, it just takes a decision to do it again and again and again and again, or not do it again and again and again. So align with your spirit. And how do you do that? You merely ask. You just ask. And then you sit. And you wait. And if the answer doesn't come right away, you don't just give up. You do it again and you do it again. This is the power of persistence. And that's what it takes for us to achieve our desires. I'm not a crazy fan of the word goals. It's just too masculine for me. But I like having to-dos and to-dones. So, if you have a list called to-do, just change it to to-da. And then when it's done, it's to-done. And the shifting of that energy from restrictive, it's a to-do list and you've got to get it done, to it's a to-da list and it's to-done. It lifts the vibration. It lifts the frequency. It puts in this sweet feminine energy of knowing that it takes a while to gestate things. It takes 10 months to gestate a baby. And if we're, and most people don't give up after a couple of months. Oh, I'm done already. They wait. And who is it that's waiting? Women. Women, we know how to do this. We know how to be in our essence. We know how to be fecund. We know how to be pregnant with ideas and possibilities and creativity. And so mastering our mind, training our brain is the way to get everything to settle down. Settle down, settle down, settle down. And if it doesn't happen in 4 days or 5 days or 6 days or 20 days, never give up. Be unstoppable. Hi, Thomas. Nice to see you. So, the power of your voice. Use your voice. And for God's sakes, do not be reasonable about your desires. Don't do that. Anyone can be reasonable. You're an enlightened spiritual warrior. Your desires can be, should be, I shouldn't. Don't should on yourself. They can be, what's another word? Aim high. Go big. Or go bigger. If something frightens you, you're on the right track. So today is about your true essence. It's about claiming your divine relationship with yourself. I had a journey earlier today, and I was shown that the divine felt really lonely. So it created us so it wouldn't be alone. So your spirit guides, your angels, they want to help you, but you must ask. Use the power of your voice, and don't wait until you're down on your knees. Ask them early. I have a project. Will you help me with this? Light a candle. Do a little smudge. Use the power of fire. Oh, and the power of your words. Be mindful what you're saying into the world. Lorena and I were talking, and she said something, and I said, whoa, time out. Let's do a rewind. Let's not put that into the world. And we used to think that it was just our words that affected, but it is actually your thoughts. Your thoughts have a vibration. You know the story from me being a student nurse and going through hormonal changes and knowing understood those back then, and being misdiagnosed because my brain waves are not normal, and empaths and healers and enlightened spiritual warriors, our brains don't operate in the same way. We see things that other people don't see. We sense things that other people don't sense. This is an enormous piece of your essence, and it's a beautiful piece of your essence. It is. Lean in. It is your power. You knowing yourself as a spiritual being, having a physical experience, understanding that you are in Earth School. And it's about learning. It's not about being afraid. And when you make that subtle shift, oh, I'm learning something, then the fear subsides, it comes down, and it becomes manageable because you have defined it as a lesson as opposed to a trauma. And over this past couple of years, we've been traumatized on a multiple times every day. So y'all know that I don't have a TV. Haven't had TV since, I don't know, 1999 or something like that. I refuse to have that frequency come into my body, into my eyes, into my ears, and up my nose and in my mouth, and being bombarded every cell of my body. I refuse. I refuse. And you get to decide how much of that do you want to take in. How much do you want to allow that low frequency? And you know, some people turn it on first thing in the morning and it goes all the way through the day. So you get to be at choice. This is the beautiful thing about understanding fear and excitement and love, is that you get to choose. And this is the result, this is the reward of becoming fearless, is you're always at choice. You're not knocked around by what somebody is saying over there, all that misinformation, uninformation. You know, it's ludicrous. So you get to put your hands on your heart. You get to take a breath. And if you're not being chased by a bear or run over by a bus, you get to choose your response to whatever it is that is coming at you. And that choice point is really sweet. Notice how it just got light back there? And you get to lighten up. You know, enlightenment means being the light, right? Radiating that light out. But if we're wobbling around in fear and we're worrying and waiting and wondering when someone is going to tell us what to do and how to do it, we're going to waste our lives. And what's the point of that? So, let me just check my notes here. The rewards, the power of your body, the power of your spirit. Oh, here we go. This is awesome. Okay. Everyone has a front door, right? Just give me a little thumbs up if you have a front door. So you can go out that front door and walk outside. You are in nature. You don't need to get in your car and drive, 40 miles to get out into the wilderness. Walking out your door, I bet you there's a tree somewhere not too far from you. I bet you that there's plants somewhere out there. So go get outside. Spend 20 minutes a day outside. Your fear level and your vitamin D will get a real good boost. And you'll feel better. It's not called vitamin D is not called the sunshine pleasure vitamin for no reason. You feel it soaking into your body. It raises your pleasure. You get more joy when you do things in the sun than you do when they do them in the shade. So, enlightened spiritual warrior, we need to be warriors in our lives, and it has been much maligned. So in order for us to achieve things, it's useful to engage the masculine side, the warrior side. Now, the feminine side is the enlightenment and the spirituality. And when those come together in union in you, then you are the most potent, powerful person because you know yourself. You've taken time to go, what are my fears? And you've taken time to go, oh, I can reward myself for looking at these. I can claim things for myself. I can use the power of my breath. And if you think you don't have any power in your breath, put your hand up in front of your face and talk for a few minutes. There's a power there. Use the power of this imaginary thing called time and decide right now that you are no longer going to be ruled by an emotion that is meant to only be experienced and let go of. But we have a tendency to hang on to negative, low frequency vibrations. Right now, it's just part of our nature. We're busting it, it's moving, and this is why Fearless as Fuck is so important. In order for us to take this next step into being the people that we're meant to be, raising the frequency on the planet for all beings, then we've got to take a stand, face what's coming at us, make a decision about how we respond to it, and then graciously and easily move forward. When you connect with nature, you realize that, that tree has probably been there for a couple hundred years. And in my journey earlier today, what happened was that I saw the interconnectedness of everything, the multiverse, the multi-dimensions, us coming together and connecting. It was a beautiful thing. You've got to be willing, and you are because you're here, you've got to be willing to take a few moments for yourself, to get to know yourself, to look at your fears, and to understand that you have the power, the essence, to be able to dissolve those by writing them down, by claiming something different, by moving your body out into nature, by tapping into the divine, by making a decision. That is really the most important thing for you to do here. And everything is work-outable. Everything is figure-outable. Everything has a solution. You might not be able to find it right away. Might take you a little treasure hunting, but you will find it because you've set yourself on the path to look for it. So just take a moment and put your hands on your heart. Take a nice deep breath and declare, if it's not a bear or a bus, I'll take a moment. I'll breathe. I'll feel my body connected to my hand. I will decide at that point if I am going to contract into fear or if I'm going to expand into excitement and love. So be at choice. Take a moment. Write down your 5 biggest fears. Write down 10 rewards. And then speak what you're calling into creation. Because oftentimes that's the biggest thing, is that we're wanting to create something, but fear is holding us back. And when you begin to talk about it, oh, I'm going to get a new car. Oh, I'm going to get a girlfriend. Oh, I'm going to get a boyfriend. Oh, I'm going to get lunch. When you begin to verbalize these things, they anchor in your body as being viable. You can call them into creation. So find your power in this next few days. Get out into nature. Touch a tree. Sit on the grass. Speak about what you want to create in your life. Take the time to really fully flesh it out for yourself. Connect with the divine. And know that you are amazing and that only you can decide whether you're going to be in fear or whether and contraction, or whether you're going to be in excitement and expansion. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this. Go ahead and share it with other people. You know, you might be having a conversation with somebody who's like stuck in fear, and you might say, let's write those fears down. How beautiful would that be? And then from that place, people can really look at what is right, true, and beautiful for them. And sometimes it's fear, but at least you will be at choice. Namaste, aho, bliss. And in case no one has told you so far today, you are amazing. You're very, very welcome. You don't think you can share? Of course you can. Talk to your cat. Your cat wants you to share about this. You can always share. Just put it out into the universe that you know something. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me, wait. Okay, so how sneezes are really fast, right? So put that, Melissa, out into the universe and talk to yourself. Share it with yourself. The first person to share this with is you. Run right into the bathroom and just share it with yourself. And then start sharing it around. You can say, you know, I heard this weird thing the other day. It's about how fear and excitement have the same physiological response, almost the same, almost identical. So why would you put yourself through the stress of fear when you can put yourself through the expansion of excitement? All right, lovelies, I will see you on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. We're going to do the third of the 4 days to become fearless as fuck. All right, bye everyone. Love you.